Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Maureen O'Connor from Quilters Heaven in Northbrook, Illinois, and I am the Opinionated Quilter. Today's episode number 176 is what to do when the math won't work. But first, I want to say a quick thank you to Rachel M., who told me the word I was searching for last week was ombre. Yes, it was, and anyone else who mentioned it that I missed, thank you to you as well. Now, let's get to the episode. Last week it was Maria who gave me a tough assignment. This time it was Catalina. She had this free download from Studio 180 Design, that's Deb Tucker, and she wanted to make this runner. And she wanted to make the block smaller. So in the pattern is a picture of the block, but it's very tiny to try to figure out to change the size. She had this is a 9-inch block and she wanted to make it a 6-inch block. Let's move down to the table where I show you how I figured it out. So here's the picture from the pattern. So I took a copy of that, and obviously it's too small. So I made a block bigger to figure out what size she was going to make these to make it a 6-inch block instead of a 9-inch block. And my first thought was, I looked at it and I said, oh, simple. 3 in the center, 1.5 on each side, that equals 6. But upon further review, if you look closely at these sections here on the outside that make the star points, this is probably the easiest one to see here on the right. We know this is a combination unit from the pattern. But if this was 1.5 inches split from a 3-inch square, this point here would be, oops, I folded it the wrong way. I knew I was going to do that. This would look like this. I should open this up again so you can see it. Here's the combo unit. If this was cut in half to make it, instead of 3, 1.5, it would look like a flying geese. And this clearly is not. There's extra here. So as I looked at it, I figured out that this wasn't 1.5. This has to be 1 3/4. And the center be 2.5. This is where the math becomes difficult. Let's get the whiteboard out and show you. So here's the center square. We said it has to be 2.5 inches square. We know flying geese is width is twice the height. So if this has to be 2.5 inches, we know that this is 3 of the heights across. So you have to take 2.5 and divide it by 3. And what does that get you? 0.833333. So that means your flying geese have to be 0.83333 times, or not times, by 1 2/3. Well, I don't know about you, but I don't have any flying geese rulers that have those kind of number lines on them. So what's the solution? The solution is you change the block size. So if I make this square 3 inches, I know this is 3 across, so that means the height is 1, so that means the width is 2. So now my flying geese are 1 by 2. Those numbers I have rulers to make. Let me show you how I then took my numbers and transferred it to a block. So now if I'm going to make the center block 3, the block becomes a 7-inch block because this is 3 and then these are each 2. And I'm saying these not cut sizes. I'm saying finished sizes because remember, we always do our math without the seam allowance. and add the seam allowance back in at the end. So I then decide that I'm going to do a mock-up. So I actually cut out little flying geese and combo units. And in this combo unit, I cut it down to the 2-inch size so that I could test to make sure that this is going to work. Because as you know, sometimes you have an idea and you think it's going to work, and then actually when you sew it up, sometimes it doesn't. In this case, it did. So I checked here. Here's the part of the sky of the flying geese, and here's the combo unit, and this does meet up properly here on my paper mock-up. And in this, I've written on it all the numbers of the colors. You need 8 different colors to make this block. And so just before I used good fabric, because I never want to use good fabric to test something I don't know if it's going to work, we used junk from the free bin. And we made a center square and made a combo unit. I trimmed it to 2.5 so it would finish to 2, and sewed it together. And you can see here that this meets properly here like it's supposed to. So it doesn't look right because the colors aren't right, but the concept is proved. So then I went and picked 8 different colors. I assigned each color a number. I made a whole list of what color was which had to be the big triangle. This is always background, which then was the small triangle, and which was the goose, and which were the skies. And I followed my list, and I made all my little pieces, sewed it all together, and here's the finished product. And you can see how these all meet up nice. This finishes the triangle here, the sky of this goose. And same thing over here. The small triangle meets the sky to finish a triangle. And I thought it turned out great. Very happy with it. And of course, I have all my leftover pieces because I did these as 4 at a time flying geese. So I could make 3 more blocks. We'll see what I do with them. I can't just throw this into the scrap heap. It's too pretty to do that. So that's how you figure out how to make something when the math doesn't work to make the size you want to make. You draw it out, you test it. You can test it with fabric and paper, and then once you're satisfied that that's going to work, then you can make your real block with good fabric. We don't want to waste good fabric on tests, which is why it's always nice to save leftovers and people who've given you things from people who've downsized or passed away. Sometimes you're tempted to throw away what we would call the icky stuff, but you might want to keep it because it's perfect to test things like that. That's the episode today. Let's get to the winner of the giveaway. The winner of the random fabric giveaway is Deborah White 59. That's DeborahWhite 59. Please send me your mailing address to quiltersheaveninc@gmail.com, and I will get that bundle out to you. This week's giveaway is another one I've tried to give away before and have been so far unsuccessful. So if you put your name in this, please check our video next week to see if you won. I'd love to give this to somebody. I think it's a great giveaway. This is actually a 43-piece of Kona jelly roll, or actually jelly rolls, Moda's name. What do they call them? It's 2.5-inch strips at any rate, but it's 43 of them, which is kind of a different number. And then this piece of Northcott fabric that looks like it goes nicely with it. So if you would like to win this giveaway, you know what to do. You want to like my video, you want to comment on my video, and you want to subscribe to my channel. This was in a bag that was marked prayer. So I don't know if they were going to make a prayer shawl or what they were going to do, but if you put into the comment Jelly Roll Prayer, and you will be entered to win. And please watch next week. I appreciate each and every one of you. Any ideas for episodes, please put them in the comments too, or you can even email me. Either way works. I hope you all have a fantastic week. Until next time, happy sewing.